Thanks for joining us. I'm Sheba Turk. One of our biggest commitments here at KCAL News is covering diverse communities. Our SoCal Spotlight, which airs every Friday on KCAL News Mornings, accentuates the culture, community, and creativity that make the Southland unique. Well, we kick off an hour-long of the Best of Special by putting the limelight on Leimert Park.
Doja Cat,
Learn a lesson from the
Eazy-E, Ava DuVernay, Issa Rae, Ice Cube, just some of the talent with ties to Leimert Park. Fitzgerald, Ray Charles. In fact, this South Los Angeles neighborhood boasts connections to some of the biggest names in the industry.
You can't name a black American, internationally famous black person that didn't live or work within 3-mile radius of here.
But this mecca of black art and culture was off limits to African Americans until 1948. In 1967, the first major art gallery run by and for black artists, the Brockman Gallery, opened up and put Leimert Park on the art world map. Now this community is home to cafes, jazz clubs, retail shops for local designers, and the acclaimed community media lab, Chaos Network, where many talented musicians got their start.
I got to work with Labo, and Labo ended up doing Lion King. He was some of the first hip-hop kiddish guys that I was working with at that time. And then, you know, Eazy, Ice Cube, Yo-Yo.
And while some fear that the recent opening of the K-Line will change what director John Singleton called the Black Greenwich Village, Caldwell says there's a different kind of change happening.
The gentrification that is really taking place is our children coming back home, because most of them had been bused to all the communities, and during George Floyd time period, they broke their parents' fear of their neighborhood, and so they started showing up.
Oh, the talent showing up and sounding off. Leimert Park is also known for the Fernando Pullum Community Arts Center. The Cultural Hub has offered free performing arts classes to underserved youth since 2001. Truly a community gem. Well, one enriching idea originally planted in the Leimert Park area is now taking root in other areas of the Southland. Crop Swap LA brings fresh, affordable food to communities affected most by food insecurity. And the nonprofit's founder says they're just getting started.
And I figured there needs to be a better option for parents to feed their kids and keep them healthy.
That mindset is what inspired Jemiah Hargens to create Crop Swap LA about 4 years ago, right after his daughter was born.
Crop Swap LA is a Los Angeles nonprofit that grows food on front yards called micro farms.
Crop Swap LA transforms a front lawn that usually goes unused into a mini farm. And the nonprofit targets areas where there's limited access to affordable, healthy food.
Our micro farms are around View Park and Leimert Park. There's what we call food apartheid, where the food input to the neighborhood is out of the control of the people who actually live there. Therefore, the nutritional quality decreases as price decreases, and we're kind of drawn to the bottom of the barrel options.
Jemiah's work is changing that. He already has 2 micro farms up and operating. People in the area can pay $60 a month for a membership. There are discounted options for people who can't afford that. And each member gets a bag of fruits and vegetables every week. 10% of the food Crop Swap LA grows is given away to the community. And now a 3rd micro farm is in the works at Jemiah's own home.
And this will be tripling our output with about 4,000 plants, collecting about 6,000 gallons of water on site and distributing to up to 70 families in the neighborhood.
Jemiah is planting his way to power, creating an independent food supply and local jobs, all using solar power and recycled water.
So we really have to reclaim our power and our independence as a community and say we have to have our own food source.
And to learn more about Crop Swap LA or to get involved, you can head to kcalnews.com and click Seen on TV. Just under 8 miles from South LA lies the center of it all. SoCal Spotlight visited Placida Olvera to learn more about the birthplace of LA.
So Olvera Street, I would say, is the birthplace of Los Angeles.
And indeed it is. The beginning of what would eventually become Los Angeles was settled in 1781 when a group of Native Americans, Africans, and Europeans from Mexico established a farming community under Spanish rule. Over nearly 2 centuries, the area became dilapidated and filled with crime.
The idea of Olvera Street came from Christine Sterling, who was actually from San Francisco and came down here to LA and saved the street.
In 1930, Christine Sterling kicked off a campaign to preserve the oldest parts of the city. That's why Olvera Street was created, to preserve the beginnings of the city of Los Angeles.
Just try and salvage the site and the street and the buildings, right? Secondly was to provide an ability for people to make a living through sales of retail sales. She is interesting in the sense that she never visited Mexico, but she had an affinity for Mexican culture. And so as a result, she wanted to have what they call a Mexican village in Olvera Street.
Today, there are about 70 restaurants, shops, and businesses, as well as these stands called puestos, filled with Mexican goods that make up the experience of Olvera Street.
Arturo Chavez is the general manager of El Pueblo Historic Monument, so he oversees the historical buildings on Olvera Street. Many of the original buildings in the area that were once set to be demolished have been restored.
Well, we have the Pico House, which is the first three-story hotel that was built by Pio Pico, who was actually the last Mexican governor in the state of California.
The original Pueblo is commemorated as a Los Angeles historical monument, and the oldest house in Los Angeles, Avila Adobe, which was built in 1818, is now a museum.
They're trying to do what they call a master plan here to develop more of the area and to save some of the buildings and to ensure that we can generate revenue in the area.
Many of the businesses are still run by descendants of the original owners.
The restaurant here across from us, the Luz del Dia, was established, which is actually located across the street, and then it was established as a restaurant. It's now one of the major restaurants here in Olvera Street, and their family continues to operate.
Gregory Berber's grandfather opened the restaurant in the 50s, and today they're still thriving.
So our most popular dishes are, of course, the carnitas. We make handmade tortillas, so the carnitas, salsa, and handmade tortillas are really good. We also make tamales year-round, champurrado year-round, and we're also known for our pastel azteca, which is like a Mexican lasagna.
Berber says he loves being a part of the good energy that is Olvera Street.
It's like a cultural melting pot of all the different peoples here in Los Angeles. We have the Chinese American Museum, Italian American Museum, we have the Mexican Marketplace, and it's just a very nice gathering place for all cultures to come and enjoy.
Who doesn't enjoy Cinco de Mayo? We are all familiar with the date, but few are familiar with what's actually being celebrated. We learned an important lesson in history on LA's oldest street.
And so we're a museum and cultural center, but we're most proud of our permanent exhibition here, which is called Alley Starts Here. And let me walk you through it.
Please do. All
sure.
Right. We're starting all the way in the 1800s.
Yes, we are. Well, one of the misconceptions about Cinco de Mayo is that it's the Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah.
But it is not. Mexican independence took place on September 16th, 1821, when it declared its independence from Spain. The real celebration of the Cinco de Mayo started here in California.
Wow.
In Mexico, it's, you know, there's a small celebrations in Puebla, but here they made it big. And so it continues, and it, to this day, again, it's not Mexican Independence Day. We now celebrate it in places like Olvera Street, here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, and throughout the Southern California area with music, with food, with culture, but more importantly, relearning that this was really a celebration of a battle against oppression, against white supremacy, and civil rights.
And Olvera Street is on the edge of another historic neighborhood that dates back more than 150 years. Though its original size has been diminished, Chinatown remains a major hub for Chinese immigrants in the Southland.
When California was taken over by the U.S., a census was taken, and the first 2 Chinese showed up in that 1850 census.
By 1870, the beginnings of Chinatown were established, but its growth was slowed by immigration laws. See, many Americans on the West Coast blamed Chinese workers for declining wages and economic problems. So in 1882, a U.S. federal law known as the Chinese Exclusion Act banned the immigration of Chinese laborers.
Very strict quotas on immigration until 1965. And then after 65, we began to see an increase in the population.
And up until the 1960s, the majority of the Chinese population did live in the area. It was a place where Chinese immigrants felt at home.
So we came here to socialize. We came here because there was a lot of support, whether it be in healthcare. I was born in a local hospital that had Chinese American doctors.
That support also led to economic growth.
Many ended up finding business opportunities. Some would open up laundry operations, or open up a restaurant, open up a grocery store. So we began to see quite a large network of economic enterprises all working together.
In the 1930s, Chinatown was relocated to make way for the construction of Union Station. The Chinatown we know today officially opened in 1938. It's a half-mile by half-mile area reaching from the Pasadena Freeway to Alameda Street.
The Chinatown community has maybe 20,000 population, of which about half could be counted as Asian or Chinese, mostly Chinese. This compares with over 500,000 Chinese in LA County. So it's only a small fraction of the present-day Chinese population in LA County.
Even though Chinatown is no longer home to the majority of Chinese Americans in Los Angeles, it still has a lot of meaning to the community.
Chinatowns are both a state of mind as well as a physical place.
And even though there are threats to the Chinese American community, whether they be economic or the recent violence we've seen against Asian Americans, Chinatown remains a safe haven where the community can return for support.
I think that the cultural roots that we have really helps us maintain our drive to support ourselves, to keep moving ahead.
Mix high-tech equipment with a historic West Hollywood hotel, and what do you get? A state-of-the-art stop for SoCal Spotlight. That's next.
She has no fear. Sheba is so adventurous. Oh my gosh, I'm sure she's going to have a lot of stories to tell.
I had fun just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about no fear, but I did absolutely enjoy one high-flying experience in Corona. We'll show you when we come back. West Hollywood and LGBTQ pride or the Sunset Strip may come to mind, but there's also a hit-making machine underground one of its trendiest hotels, the historic Sunset Marquis.
This is our Studio B, and we brought in here Jed Lieber's our partner with the studio, and this is all Jed's equipment, and Jed created the studio downstairs, Nightbird, and this was his father's piano. This is a Steinway that we brought over, and where Jerry Lieber and Stoller wrote a lot of music for Elvis Presley and everything else, and now we have it down in our studio. This is our mixing room, and this is a really popular room with writers. So Diane Warren's used this room among others.
This is so cool. So the hotel came about in the 60s, and then this was added a few decades later.
Yeah, it was opened in 1994. We created, and as we were building it, Jeff Beck was our first person to use the studio. He played the Star Spangled Banner down here and woke up the whole neighborhood because it wasn't sealed up yet.
What are some of your favorite stories across the years? I know you've been here for decades.
Well, when Steven Tyler and Joe Perry were writing music down here, they were contacted by the NFL, asked to do the Monday Night Football song. We put a green screen up here in this area here of the lobby. They got out here the next day and sang, "Thank God It's Monday Night Football," and 2 days later it was on TV.
Wow.
That quick.
Well, when it comes to hosting famous faces, WeHo has some serious competition in the Inland Empire. Nestled in Riverside, you'll find another historic hotspot in the Southland, the landmark Mission Inn.
It started in 1876. C.C. Miller came here with his family. C.C. Miller was actually a civil engineer, and he was building canals to bring water here to Riverside for the fledgling citrus industry. The Washington Navel Orange was here. And the city was very young at the time, and in order to give pavement, they gave him a full city block right here in downtown Riverside. And he was able to build his own home here, and they eventually took on boarders. And the first guest arrived here November 22nd in 1876. Wow. The Millers were avid collectors, and they traveled all over the world. Through Europe and Asia, and whatever they saw, they grabbed and they brought back here to the hotel, really to let our guests see how beautiful everything was. So in the early days, it was like a hotel and a museum. Mm-hmm. So priceless works of art and artifacts and furnishings, and of course bells, were all here for the guest to see. It is quite amazing. So, and when the citrus industry really started to boom, a lot of our guests were wealthy, prominent citizens, mm-hmm. and so they were attracted here, and that was the vision that Mr. Miller had of building this grand hotel with several wings that were built over the decades and finishing in 1931. One of the things here which is very popular with our guests is President Taft's chair. This was made for President Taft in 1909. You can imagine he was a bit of a large man, and this was a special chair for him, and it's been here ever since then. We've welcomed several presidents here at the Mission Inn. In the 1930s, this was a very popular hangout with Hollywood elite. Nice. And we've had everyone here from Paul Newman, Tom Hanks, Barbara Streisand, social luminaries like Booker T. Washington, Amelia Earhart. The list goes on and on and on and on.
So much history. Nearby Corona may be known as the Circle City, but it's a straight line in the sky that has piqued the interest of thrill seekers. So I took a shot at Skull Canyon's high-flying fun, a scenic and speedy zip line ride over the Cleveland National Forest. Take a look.
We didn't destroy anything. We did our best to build the course so people didn't. You can't really see it from the freeway if you noticed.
Yeah.
So.
You just want people to kind of appreciate nature.
Absolutely. Woo! Especially here in LA area. You know what I mean?
There you go. And this was about an hour 15 drive from LA. What are the prices if people want to come zipline?
Anywhere from $40 for our speed run, which is what you're doing, okay, all the way to $160 for our monster course.
Okay, and I should have asked this before I get up, but what are people's responses when they get to the bottom of the other end?
I would say it's sensory overload for most people the first time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It looks like just a lot of fun, though, and you get to take in these beautiful views.
Absolutely, and you're gonna be next.
Do you do this all the time, Pete?
Not all the time, but yes, I do it all. Yeah, more than I say. Yeah.
Okay, and then I saw the sign saying, "Be warned of rattlesnakes."
Yes.
Okay.
We had our first rattlesnake sighting a couple of days ago, and they'll definitely be out today. Good news for you right now. Rattlesnakes don't fly, so there's none up here, and it's really cold out.
Well, that's great. That's my sign to pick my feet up. Pete, thank you so much for this. So, guys, it's time for me to try out Skull Canyon. Let me just clip my mic on here. Zoe and I are going to take off, and I'll see you on the other end.
Oh, have fun, Sheba. Enjoy the ride. Woo! There she goes.
Go, Sheba!
So much fun.
We are living vicariously right now. This looks like so much fun.
And the hillsides are so beautiful with all those flowers. She's still going.
Look at her. She's still going. She's having so much fun out there.
Best assignment of the day for sure, hands down.
Wow. Absolutely
still
gorgeous.
Going. How far does it go? Let's see. We're losing sight of her, it looks like. Hopefully she comes back.
But you know, she gets to enjoy all those poppies out there as she's gliding down. Oh. Has she landed?
Is she okay? Paul said she's in Riverside.
I'm alive. I can confirm that I'm alive.
We did it.
Oh.
Ready for some tasty treats? Just a quick trip down the 15. SoCal Spotlight checked out Logan's Candies in downtown Ontario. I even picked up some sweet candy making tips from the owner, Jerry Rowley.
Well, we're making some of our candy cans. This is going to be our candy cane pillows here. We're making a green apple flavor, so I'm adding a little bit of color to it. This is going to be the white part of the candy cane, and then in about 20 minutes or so, they're going to turn on those little pillows that we have right over there. So just adding a little bit of color. Going to add a little bit of flavor here in just a minute, and then we'll put it on the hook and start pulling it all out.
How do you eat this ginormous jawbreaker?
That one, right, that is a big jawbreaker there, but that's going to be one lick at a time. Yes, that's a tough one to eat. But kids will come in and buy these things, and they will just start licking, and I'm sure it must take them days and days.
So that's when the parents want some free time, right? You give them this for a couple of hours.
Got chocolate-covered pretzels. I've got this some more here that was caramel marshmallow dipped on top of a graham cracker. We call it caramel some more, and it is amazing. So
I just love how excited you get talking about this. Do you eat candy every day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would like to say I don't. The key here is stay busy so you don't eat a lot of candy, but it's very tough when you have after lunch. It's like, okay, what do I need? I need a little taste of something. I got to eat something. So yeah, we definitely eat more sugar than the average family.
Still ahead, turning tables on what was once a seedy part of Orange County.
This area is known as one of the most rundown areas in Anaheim. Drugs, crime was pretty prevalent.
How the ethnic enclave of Little Arabia transformed a stretch of Anaheim into a different type of magic kingdom. Next.
You know, we have a rich history of boxing here in the city. You have fighters like Fernando Vargas, Robert Garcia.
And get ready to be knocked out by Ventura County. We're ringside with Rick Montanez in Oxnard when we come back. Let's head to Ventura County now, more specifically the area's largest city, Oxnard. Rick Montanez is joining us to shine a spotlight on one of SoCal's best kept secrets. You got to check this one out, Rick.
Yeah, Sheba, it was a great time. Of course, I'm from Southern California, spent a lot of my childhood in Oxnard. The seaside city has wide, sandy shorelines, a rich, beautiful history that KOs both residents and tourists.
Home of the California Strawberry Festival and gateway to Channel Islands National Park, Oxnard is located just 60 miles northwest of Los Angeles.
Close to the ocean, you don't have to deal with the traffic. It's just, it's a lot more quiet.
Oxnard offers over 22 miles of pristine beaches, which surfers and kayakers can enjoy year-round. Even a cruise on a gondola can be part of a visit.
But I like being the best kept secret. I like that.
There is something for everyone. Foodies can choose from more than 40 international restaurants, including a city-sanctioned taco trail.
Right now, we're at Corrales. What up?
When I think about Oxnard, I always think of like fog. I think of strawberry fields, and I think of church. You know, I think of family.
And while it's known for its festivals, summer concerts, and sandy beaches, many Oxnard residents credit the sense of community for making it one of the nicest places to live.
We know each other. We're a big city, but yet it's small enough that we have the hometown type feeling.
With over 200,000 residents, Oxnard is the largest city in Ventura County, and it is well worth the drive up the 101.
The biggest thing is just the sense of community.
Yeah, so there's a lot to see and do in Oxnard. Of course, not a lot of people really are too familiar, Sheba, with everything it has to offer, but there's also a lot of great eats there as well.
That's what I hear. I hear something for people who love tacos.
Yes, there's the taco trail, so you can get the app. You can sign up on your phone. You can log where you go, and they give you updates too to try new food. It's pretty cool.
Rick, we got to go back together.
Yes, we'll make a trip.
Us and tacos. All right, glad you got to check out that one. Guys, coming up, an unlimited future for the jewel of the South Bay.
We are the jewel of the South Bay is what I term the city as, because we have a lot of potential here.
The lasting impression left on us by a one-of-a-kind experience in Carson. That's next.
I think what's so unique about Burbank is that once you come here, people rarely leave.
And touring the media capital of the world by horseback. SoCal Spotlight reveals the hidden treasures of Burbank. Next. "55 years ago, residents voted to convert an unincorporated part of LA County into what's now known as Carson. And with the motto Future Unlimited, the city has been on a fast pace ever since, including the lights, camera, and traction on a world-class racetrack.
Yeah, welcome to Restaurant 917. It is named after one of our most significant race cars of all time, the 917, which won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1970, and then continued to race for many years in several different series as well.
Very cool. Okay, I wanted to get us back out to the driver development track, and we've been showing folks around this morning. We showed the gallery with some of the beautiful custom cars and the race cars celebrating the 75th anniversary of Porsche. We've showed the simulator lab where you can pretend to drive, but I wanted to do the real deal. So you took me out on the track a couple of minutes ago. Tell folks how I did. You can tell the truth.
You did great. A little work to be done.
There was a pause there.
No, a little work to be done, but you actually did the right motions, all the right stuff.
Okay.
We would just want to work on some timing and polish it up a little bit.
Okay, so let's show folks how that went and explain to everyone the first thing we did was accelerate very quickly.
Right, so I took you on the acceleration straight. We were in the Taycan Turbo S, and we did what's called launch control, so giving us a very aggressive start from a dead stop, and we did 0 to 60 in about 2.6 seconds. Then you accelerated all the way down to our carousel corner.
That would be me screaming as we accelerated. That was scarier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, a lot of screaming, a lot of laughs, all that, but it was really fun.
That sounds like my life in a nutshell. Okay, and then tell them about the second thing we did. You promised that I would spin out this morning, and I did, guys.
Yep. Yeah, so then we went to the kick plate, and the kick plate is a wetted module, and what happens there is as you drive in, there's a plate that actually pushes the car sideways across a slip and slide piece of epoxy, and you spun around.
So guys, if you thought it looked like fun what I did, which it was a ton of fun, anybody can do this. You don't have to own a Porsche or be part of some special club.
Right, anyone can do this. Prices will range from about $500 up, and programs will cater to the novice all the way up to a professional driver.
Awesome. And you have 90-minute experiences, 4-hour experiences. You can spend a whole day here.
You can spend multiple days here. So we have our 90 minutes, our 4 hours, our 4-day program, so a lot of options.
That was scary, but also fun. Speaking of cars, amazing automotive artistry can be found in a San Fernando Valley neighborhood known as the Top of Los Angeles. I got a chance to tour the multi-storied collection at the Nethercutt Museum in Sylmar.
Tell us a little bit about how people enjoy these.
Well, it's really fun. We have the private tours, and then the museum is open free of charge across the street. People can come in throughout the week and find all different sorts of different cars for all types of ages and genres. You know, we have sports cars, muscle cars, the antiques, of course.
I know, they're all beautiful, and you got something for everyone. So I asked you to show me your favorite. We're standing in front of it. Tell me about it.
So this is a 1931 Bugatti Dubois Coupe. Type 51. It actually was originally a race car. Before the days of F1, it was Grand Prix. This car has been all over the world, most of its life in Europe, and now it resides here in Sylmar. And it's my personal favorite because it's a race car. It's really fun to drive, and it just has such an amazing history.
Tell me about this one over here.
So this is a 1930 DuPont Model G town car. This is actually the car that started the Nethercutt collection. JB bought this car back in the 50s, restored it in 1958, drove it all the way up to Pebble Beach, and won Best of Show in 1958. And it is just so beautiful. It actually was in the movie Annie back in the day.
It's so cool. And I also want to stress, these cars did not come to you guys looking like this. Part of your efforts are restoration, which is very expensive, and we want to show people what it looked like before the restoration. Talk about those efforts.
So this is one of the biggies. That's why we have the photo out, just to remind people that, you know, you might think a car is really far gone, but with a little bit of love, a little bit of labor, and a little bit of money, you know, it helps to get them back to looking how they did back in the day, and we call her the hussy.
I love this so much, and I love that you're saying a little bit, and it requires a lot of bit of love, a lot of bit of money, and a lot of bit of effort, Cameron. Okay, tell me about this one, because this is stunning.
So there's nothing better than a Duesenberg. This is a 1936 Duesenberg SJN. Okay. This car was in the original Great Gatsby movie.
Get out of here.
So it is very fun. They actually had to take a sledgehammer to the front fender back to film the movie, you know, when they run over the woman. So wouldn't want to do that now these days.
No. So can I get inside?
Absolutely.
Okay,
let's do
awesome.
it.
Let's get in here. Guys, there's so many cool cars here. They do tours across the street for free. On this side, they've got guided tours, which you can do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? And from 9 until 4:30. So guys, I've picked out all of your cars this morning. Jamie, a million options for the OGs, some classic cars for Rutabaga, but I'm going home in this one, ladies.
That looks good on you.
It does. Yeah, I definitely think
found the right one.
Thank you.
Well, just under 50 miles south of Sylmar sits the coastal community of San Pedro, home to a symbol of American freedom, World War II battleship USS Iowa.
So one of the things that people love seeing here is stuff like this. This is our armored conning tower. So they would have steered the ship from inside here, and I might get in trouble. I believe this is 17 inches thick. Could be wrong. It's close to that at least. And they would have steered the ship from right in there. They would have been given verbal orders and turned that wheel. And as you're going along here, we're walking to the front. That is the chair that the captain would have sat in and kept watch on things. You take a look at the view out the front.
Right, that beautiful view of the water. What do you hope visitors get out of visiting the battleship?
Oh gosh, just a sense of it's a sense of wonder, really, because this is an absolute marvel of engineering, and that the technology may be a little bit old, but we can't do this anymore. That this type of manufacturing is incredible, and we need to preserve it so that future generations can see it and appreciate it. And then just, you know, learn some history, learn some good stuff down here.
A view of the sea not enough? Well, SoCal Spotlight took a deep dive into the underwater world of Southern California at San Pedro's Cabrillo Marine Aquarium.
Cabrillo Marine Aquarium is part of the community for over 85 years, and we love to connect people to the ocean. We offer all kinds of programs, both family programs, school programs, and programs for teachers to come down, learn about the local ocean, and then bring that back and educate more people about it as well. We are steps between the ocean, the port, rocky shores, sandy beach, and mud flats as well. We offer programs that take people out into the rocky shore. We do tide pool walks, we do salt marsh open houses. We connect, like literally connect people to the habitats by bringing them out to those habitats, both families and students as well.
And speaking of families, Pomona has been home to the LA County Fair since the 1920s. Now P-Town is experiencing monumental growth while maintaining the essence of small town USA.
So oftentimes when people come to Pomona, the place that they go is the LA County Fair. And we have been home to the LA County Fair since 1922.
And while the fair is definitely worth the trip, Pomona has so much more to offer.
But there's so many other things happening in the city. There's an incredible music scene. There's the Glass House and the Fox Theater. There's an art scene.
It is a community that celebrates diversity and maintains a small town culture where residents get involved. In fact, we caught up with the mayor and a group of volunteers picking up trash on some of the city's busiest streets.
When people have lived here and grow up here, they just appreciate the sense of community. Even though it's the 7th largest city in LA County, people know each other here.
Pomona, once an economic leader in citrus, was named after the Roman goddess of fruit and fruit trees. Now the downtown district serves as a regional destination for arts, antiques, retail, and entertainment. Beth Ann Gerstein is the executive director of the American Museum of Ceramic Art, the largest standalone ceramic museum in the country.
There's so much to do and see in Pomona, and we're also close to so many other communities that have cultural experiences as well.
And that is only the beginning as the city continues to grow. In fact, there are several projects tied to the extension of the Gold Line from Azusa to Pomona, which is now 50% complete.
Pomona has so many beautiful things, so much value, so much culture, so much variety of people. Pomona is an awesome place to be, and not only just to be, but to live and be able to raise your family.
Oh, such a good time. Just a sample of the talent at the School of Arts and Enterprise. The Pomona High School has been called one of the best in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. SAE is audition and tuition free and has provided students with some of the highest quality education in the area since 2003. Just under 100 years prior to that, by a vote of 77 to 17, Huntington Park officially became a city. The area is now synonymous with style and tradition.
A reason why there's so many bridal stores here, you know, it has to do with the culture being so important in our heritage. You know, celebrating your quinceañera or sweet 16 is so deep and rooted into our roots that how can I put this in words? It's almost mandatory for us, you know, growing up in our household, that when you get to 15, 16, we need to celebrate you and your life. And you know, it's a way of our parents, you know, bringing us to the society and saying, hey, you know what, this is my little daughter, she's growing up, you know, and it's that transition from childhood to adulthood. So
beautiful tradition.
Movie magic isn't the only tradition on the call sheet in the media capital of the world. SoCal Spotlight saddled up to experience Burbank by horseback.
This is really cool. A lot of people may not know that Burbank is one of the few cities near LA where you can ride and own horses.
Correct. This is Griffith Park that we're in, and there's about 8 miles of trails right here that anybody can come ride horses. You can rent a horse through us, or there's a community of horse owners that ride in this park as well.
And honestly, is there any better way to experience Burbank? I mean, this is gorgeous behind us this morning.
Yeah, no, Griffith Park here, this is a great way to do it. I mean, we got some bikers and hikers that go on the trail too, but this is an experience in itself.
Yeah, this is really cool. Tell us more about the business. I know it's been passed through 3 generations.
Yes, it's a family business. It started, my family packed horses in the High Sierras, then came down here and we started a horse rental business, and they moved here in 1982, and it's still in the family, and we're still riding horses through the park and giving people this experience on horses.
What an amazing experience, and yeehaw!
I think you found your new hobby here in LA, Sheba. Very impressive.
That was so fun. All right, whether you're a Barney or a Betty when it comes to tubular surf, it doesn't get much more impressive than Huntington Beach.
It has waves all year round because it's in the channel between the Palos Verdes Peninsula and Catalina Island, the north end of it.
SoCal Spotlight suits up in Surf City, USA, and I get amped up about breaking waves.
So let's talk about the best places to visit in Santa Ana. Well, since I was a young girl, it's the Santa Ana Zoo.
Home to one of the youngest populations in the country, but the oldest zoo in Orange County. A stopover in Santa Ana when we come back. In Pretend City, the children's museum that literally creates a pretend city for kids. So I just got out of Trader Joe's, did a little grocery shopping this morning. They got a yoga studio over here, gas station, police station. Actually, there's a police officer right now. I gotta go. I'm frightened. I might be under arrest. See you guys in a bit.
That is the cutest police officer I've ever seen.
Isn't he? Oh, and turned out he was a very nice cop. That Mini-Town Museum calls one of America's safest cities home. But if tiny replicas aren't your thing, Irvine also offers something much greater. Look at these beautiful views you get of Irvine. This is absolutely amazing. And here to tell us more about it are Stephen Stewart and Christina Parague. They're with the city of Irvine. Guys, first tell me about what we're inside of and how high up we are.
Yeah, so we're in a helium balloon. It's tethered to the ground. It goes 400 feet up and has 360-degree views of all of Irvine and Orange County.
Nice. And tell us a little bit more about the park. It's so popular.
Yeah, so we're flying above a 200-acre sports park right now. It's really one of the country's premier sporting destinations. It's 25 soccer fields, 12 ball fields, 25 tennis courts, 5 volleyball courts, 5 basketball courts, and really a local, regional, and national gem for sports.
So right now in the 1,300-acre park, we have about 500 acres developed. In the next phase, which broke ground in May of this year, we will be developing 300 more acres, including 2 lakes, an amphitheater, botanical gardens, Veterans Memorial and Gardens, a huge open space called the Great Meadow, as well as a variety of other areas that are really just going to improve the passive entertainment of the park for residents, as well as make it really put itself on the map. It's going to be a huge spot where people from all over the world come, one of the best municipal parks in the world.
From Irvine to the county seat of Orange County, Santa Ana is home to the OC's oldest zoo. SoCal Spotlight found out what makes the spot so special to nearly 300,000 visitors every year.
The most special thing for the zoo is that we are small and we're integrated into our community. All of the kiddos that are here today are from within about 20 or 30-mile radius. Many of these kids, this is their first time coming to a zoo at all. So for me, the zoo is really special. I grew up here and it is really integrated as part of the community.
And did you know that Anaheim takes part of its name from the Santa Ana River? You can guess which part. OC's largest city is famous for angels, ducks, and the world's most popular mouse. But it's also the perfect place to experience the culture and cuisine of an area known as Little Arabia.
I came here 40 years ago, was an engineer, then decided to take advantage of my family's recipe, the kanafe. The kanafe, once it's cooked upside down, we flip it and then add the syrup to it, the hot syrup. Before we get to enjoy it. And it is becoming very popular. In the beginning, when we opened 2013, people were coming in and asked for baklava because all they know is baklava. And then we give them samples of the knafe, they try it, they come back for the knafe. Believe me, they forget about the baklava.
Yeah. It must be really good.
Yeah, especially the pistachio touch on the top and the cheese. And you know, it is called the Arabic cheesecake. That's what it's called.
Ah, okay. You're serving it up. Tell us what it means to have a community that celebrates your culture.
we're very excited to be part of a community here because people come in from out of town. They come in to eat a meal in a Middle Eastern restaurant, do their groceries, stop by for a dessert. So it's nice to be the belongings of the community, but also we wanted to be part of the main fabric society.
And you can't talk about the fabric of society in Orange County without weaving your way to 8.5 miles of beautiful beach in Surf City, USA, more commonly known as Huntington Beach. I even picked up a few tips to hanging 10 at the Surf Riders Academy Surf School.
I've been doing this since '75 in high school, and I'm still doing it today. And I'm just excited as I was the first time I ever learned how to surf.
Awesome. What are some tips for first-time newbies like me?
Take a lesson, learn the technique, learn the safety, ocean conditions, and go have fun.
And you teach this to people of all ages. I know you sent some of the kids in the water. They've got the green and pink boards down there.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. We're going to look at them. And I want you to show me earlier. I'm going to show them my first attempt in just a second. But show me some of those techniques for getting on the board. I'll let you hold this and walk me through it.
Okay. Well, first we put marks on our board, 2 different marks. So the top mark is for her height. So you go ahead and lay down on your stomach. So she knows she's right on her mark. So we do a cobra, slide to your knees, 1 foot forward, and stand. Beautiful. Okay, that's how it's done.
I tried this earlier. Let's take a look at my first attempt in the water. And what are people surprised by that first attempt? I was surprised by how rough the water was.
Well, I mean, the first attempt, you made it on the second attempt.
Tell him again.
So good. I'm telling you, you did excellent. But yeah, it's the stokedness, we call it, the like most awesomest thing when you get up and you're actually walking on water.
Yeah.
So you know what? Once you get that feeling, you're pretty much hooked.
Yeah. No, I really am. I'm ready to go back in the water right now. What's been amazing is we've been talking about the June gloom. Out here on the beach, though, you guys are having such a great time. This dreariness doesn't even matter.
Right. Yeah, I can't let the weather dictate my surfing or my lessons, or I'd never be in the water.
Yeah.
But you know, once you start surfing and having fun, you forget all about the elements. You're just focusing on the fun.
I was talking with one of the locals earlier who was like, hey, don't worry about the sharks. And I was like, right, because they're not there, right? And he was like, no, they're definitely there. Just don't worry about them. How concerned are you about animals in the water?
They don't bother me except for stingrays, but you know, I know how to overcome that. Do the stingray shuffle. And, yeah, be on your board most of the time.
The stingray shuffle. And what makes Huntington Beach Surf City?
Well, you know, I don't know that one, but you know, since it's always been popular surfing here and holding most of the biggest world contests surfing, like the U.S. Open of surfing, and we could go back farther to the OP Pros, you know, and the Caton, which are not around no more. So I think all that media, biggest wave riders, best surfers around the world coming here to have contests in Huntington Beach, Surf City. I think that's kind of how it was put on the map, in my opinion.
Oh, I'd always wanted to go surfing. That was so epic. After a gnarly rivalry with Santa Cruz, Huntington Beach officially trademarked Surf City, USA back in 2006. We have been to so many SoCal cities and visited so many amazing places. We couldn't include them all, but we couldn't wrap up the best of SoCal Spotlight without including some of our best and funniest moments.
Let's see the first go out of here.
Okay.
Well, there was some body movement. Try and keep the. You really have quite the athletic move there, to be honest. You probably are a heck of a tennis player.
That's right, my best guys. Listen, I think you guys will have a better time. Come out to Black Gold Golf Club. All right, guys, and we're at the Rio Hondo Golf Course because we are checking out Downey this morning. Excuse me, sir. Professional coming through. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I missed it. I'm going to get it next time, I promise.
Many of our SoCal Spotlight adventures have put my golf skills to the test, and well, I haven't exactly passed. But my luck was a little bit better on a visit to Top Golf in El Segundo.
There you go.
Yay!
Look at that.
I'm just glad that the ball moved this week. Jim, you must be good luck. I'm going to send it back over to you, Amy.
All right, Sheba, I saw some improvement.
Silas Samples is hoping some good luck brings his celebrity crush back to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, where he is a manager.
And yes, and of course the woman I want to marry, Nia Long.
I wasn't going credit for that one.
Yes.
You can propose right over these waffles, okay? That would be a good start.
Silas dreams of marrying Nia Long. I was dreaming of ice skating like a pro, and it was kind of like that.
Oh, Lord. Bend my knees. Oh, Lord.
I was wondering why you weren't
There's
doing
other
the
stuff in the
interview,
news.
like skating around.
Girl, because I got on that wall and didn't want to die.
Sheba, when did you become a grandma?
Right. Did you see my first step, Jamie? I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed.
Well, that's it for now. We hope you were both entertained and informed by our SoCal Spotlight. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sheba Turk. We hope to see you soon at a city near you every Friday on KCAL News Mornings. Goodbye.